We're recording. Ardi, welcome to the channel.
Nick, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, when you messaged me and you said if I could come on, I'm like, oh wow, I'm honored. I'm interesting enough that Nick is interviewing me. So
Of course,
I'm
you're interesting enough.
glad.
I had your older brother Amin on last year, who's also one of my clients, and I'm going to talk about him in a second with you as well. But before we start, why don't we? Because this is your first time on the channel, so why don't we tell everyone who you are and what you do for a living?
Yeah, so my name is Ardi, and I've been training with you, I think, for on and off for about a few years, 3 years.
Yeah, about 3 years.
Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah. And hated, loved and hated everything. Hated it when I'm doing it, and then loved it when I'm not doing it, of course, because the results been amazing. But professionally, I study finance and accounting. So my background is in finance, and now I'm actively trading. So I'm an active day trader. I mostly do weekly option trades.
Okay.
I also help run the Bearable traders community, which is a day trading community for retail traders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain to me how that works with the Bearable trading.
Yeah. So Bearable traders is more of a community and kind of an education platform for active retail day traders. So,
Okay.
Let's say you want to start trading and, make some money. Of course, there's so many tickers. There's more than 5,000 companies. Which one do you trade? How do you trade? What platform do you use?
Right.
What is options? What is implied volatility? What strategy do you need to use? So there's so many unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is part of it is we have a really strong education center, which I run the option sections of it,
Okay.
and derivatives. But also, we teach from the really, really basics of, what are stocks, what are exchanges, all the way to more complex, market neutral strategies.
Okay.
And we have a chat room, which is very similar to a trading floor. So maybe in the late 90s, early 2000, if you would walk into a hedge fund, you'll see a bunch of traders on a trading floor.
On the trading floor, yeah.
Exchanging trading ideas,
right,
coming up with strategies. Is basically the same thing for retail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys, I know you don't manage people's portfolios, but do you guys do you give stock advice? Do you recommend certain stocks to your clientele?
So our business is, so there's the Bearable traders, and then there's a peak capital, and
Okay.
then the peak capital has three divisions: private equity, public equity, and the proprietary trading.
Right.
So in the public equity side, yeah, we do manage some friends and family. So you have to be in close approximation, because we don't want to go through the regulation. But yeah, we do manage some money in that arena as well.
In your opinion, what would you say percentage wise for how many people are actually successful at day trading, would you say?
Depends on what you define success, Nick.
Okay.
So I think it's very similar to, working out.
Okay.
What is success? If your success is you want to look like one of the Instagram models, then everybody's going to be a failure. But
right,
if you think if you define success by making a little bit of money, I think it's possible.
Okay.
But can you do it consistently? Can you do it better than just investing your money in an S&P 500 or an index? Then I think that's when it becomes challenging.
Right.
It's so interesting. We were looking at, so the hedge funds released their returns, and only 3 hedge funds was able to actually beat S&P 500. Only 3.
Right.
Out of the ones that, so the result just came out today because the year ended today.
Right.
And I was looking at them before this show, and it was very interesting. So only 3. So, if the success is you want to make a little bit of extra income, I think it's doable if that's your definition of success.
Yeah.
But for me, or for anybody that want to do it full time, you got to be able to make a living off it. So you have to be consistent. You have to beat your index, and that it becomes very, very challenging.
Yeah, you have to be all in. And I know with your older brother, Andrew, when he first started Bearable Traders, I mean, I remember when he started that, and now it's grown so much. I mean, he used to be a one-man show. And I remember, this is how far back him and I go. He was actually working as, I think he was an engineer, right?
Yeah.
At UBC. Yeah. So, I mean, he had a full day job, 9 to 5, and he just started doing day trading on the side before he'd go to work. I remember because he used to train with me at 5 a.m, and then he'd have to leave about 10 to 6 because that's when the market's open here on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
So, and I remember I even asked him once, I said, is it hard being a day trader? And he said, Well, you just have to have the mindset for it. And
Yeah.
I have another client who's a day trader, and I once asked him, I said, what do you think? I said, can the average person just day trade? He says, absolutely not. Because it's really, it's all about like just having the way your mindset about being able to time the market and when to go and when to sell, right?
Yeah. No, it's all a game of psychology. Like, in order, I personally think in order to be a successful trader, you have to completely change your relationship with money.
Yeah.
You're not really playing with money, you're playing with theses and positions.
Okay.
If you look at them that way, the game completely changes.
Right.
So if you say, oh, I lost $5,000 in this position, I'm doomed, and then you get down on yourself, then you could never recover. I'm down in a few of my positions, but I don't look at them as being down. I'm looking at it as, hey, either this thesis was wrong or this thesis hasn't actually materialized yet. Because money is just an object when you're trading. It's a tool. You make some, you lose some, you make some. Your job is managing that capital flow and being able to allocate it correctly. You're just a capital allocator.
Right.
So once you change your lens from, oh, I want to make money, to I'm a capital allocator and a thinker when you're trading, then the game completely changes.
So you don't let emotions control you.
I try not to. It's hard. It's really, really difficult. But I try not to. Like for example, right now I'm shorting a few of these electric companies that I think that are really overvalued going into Q1 of 2022, and they're not doing very well. I'm down in those positions, but I don't look at it as, oh, I'm down this much. I look at it as, hey, this is a thesis, and my thesis is that this is gonna kick in right around March when we're gonna have the first rate hike.
Right. Okay.
So that's how I look at it. If once you look at it that way and not the money that is attached to it, then the game is completely changed.
And you're such a young guy, because how old are you?
28.
28, and you're already this successful. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
There's got a long way to go.
Yeah, you're very humble, but I mean, if you're anything like Andrew, I know you're going to be incredibly successful. What about when you have buddies? Because I mean, I get this because I'm a trainer. I've got people who always ask me for, kind of like free advice. Do you ever get that on like from your friends and like, hey, Ardi, what do you think about this stock or this stock? Or what do you think I should do with this? Or you got to look at my portfolio.
Yeah.
What do you do with situations like that?
I hate it. I hate that scenario. It's one of my least favorite situations, and I get it on daily basis, believe it or not. Like yesterday, a friend of mine who I haven't talked to in a really long time called me, and he's like, hey, what do you think about metaverse? What stocks should I buy in? And it's so hard because first you have to educate people of what is the realistic event. Like you're not gonna have a stocks giving you 10x return every year. It just doesn't work like that. Market doesn't work like that. But also you just have to understand people's risk tolerance are different. Like if Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy all the way till 2018.
Yeah.
And then it took off, so somebody could have told you, hey, buy Tesla at 2015 and was right, but it would have given you hell for 4 or 5 years until it took off. So it's psychology. It's a lot of it is, what is your risk? How much capital do you have?
Yeah.
It's really a personalized thing. You have to actually sit down with a person. I hate it. I try to avoid and dodge those questions. But the problem is people think that you're acting too cool, or you want to say, oh, but it's really not the case. It's not true.
You're right. And where your job and my job is similar is that we both offer a service, right? At the end of the day, we offer a service. And every time someone asks you, it might not seem like a big deal, but every time someone asks you for a tidbit of information free here, or you're at a party and someone else asks you about what your advice is on a stock or anything when it has to do with what you do for a living, it just takes a little bit away from you. That's your downtime. I mean, you work hard. You're in there 5-6 days a week sometimes, right? You work long hour days. The last thing you want to be doing is answering questions from friends and family members.
Yeah.
So I always like to just get an idea of like what people say. Like for me, I just tell people, I said, here's my card. That's always I just give them my business card. I said, you want to talk? I said, sign up. We can talk about anything you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's such a personalized thing as well. Like with trading, like how much is your account? Like what's your risk tolerance? How much drawdown can you accept? Are you going to be okay if the portfolio goes down by 50%? Like, in the pro world, if you have a wealth management fund and you want to take on a new client, the first few sessions with a client is a process called investment policy statement.
Yes.
So you sit down and you're like, hey, what are your goals? When do you want to retire?
Yes.
What are your immediate cash needs?
Yeah.
And then you start building a portfolio for them.
Sure.
So it's like the last thing I want to do is to give an advice at a cocktail party. And then,
no, that's not what you do. I understand what you mean. You want to take a more customized approach. And that's what financial advisors do. They also assess your risk tolerance, like you said, right? What's next for Bearable Traders? Because you guys are growing. Your office just opened up a few months ago. You're right down near my gym.
Yeah.
So what's next? I mean, every time I see you guys on Instagram, you guys just finished a recording right now, right?
Yeah. We just did a podcast, wrapping up the year. Like what were some of the big movers for the year? What's coming up next year? So definitely check that out as well. It's on Bearable Traders YouTube channel, just Bearable Traders.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff. So we're developing a couple of softwares. One of them is a stock market replay, where you could replay market and practice. So let's say if you missed yesterday's trading session or last week trading session, you could actually brought that up and start trading, which is really, really awesome. Another tool is we're building a terminal, like an all-in holistic approach terminal for retail. So, professionals have Bloomberg terminal where they get all their data. But retail doesn't have that, and we're trying to build that as well. So really cool stuff. So we're more of a, we started as a, small community, trading all together, coming up with ideas. Now we're more of a fintech play, like mixing technology and financials.
Cool. And now, you being a day trader with your own portfolio, I'm just curious, do you have, like, for yourself personally, do you keep any long-term stocks, like any blue chip stocks, or are you just in and out of the market every day?
So yeah, no, I do.
You
so
do?
yeah, I what I do is I buy the index, and then I try to enhance my return using options. So it's writing covered calls on them. There are like multiple strategies where you could run and add like a few percentage points at the end of the year to your return. And it makes a lot of sense for someone who has a smaller size account. By a smaller size, I mean like less than like 10 million, less than 100 million.
I see. Yeah.
It could still be a lot of money, but you still have that liquidity. You could take advantage of the option market and really add a lot of value.
What your opinion on with the pandemic right now? Because I don't know nearly as much as you know about the financial market, but I do know that my portfolio took a massive hit when COVID first hit. Like everyone's portfolio was taking a massive dive. I think it was cut like 40% down in 3 days. And then it slowly started to rise again, and it went above and beyond. It went better. What do you, and I'm not going to hold you to this, but what's your opinion on the way we're going right now with COVID-19 in the stock market? Are you seeing it's going to be a lot of volatility, or what do you see?
So it's a very interesting question. So S&P closed 2020, which was the year of pandemic, I think 11-12%. So closed the year positive. And then we just closed this year at 27%. Same thing with Canadian market. Canadian market was really, really strong, especially because of the boost in the commodity prices and oil. So, Canadian banks did fantastic. Canadian index, the TSX index also did really well. So it's very interesting. So because a lot of people are saying, hey, this boom is driven by liquidity. So there's interest rates are really cheap. A lot of people are borrowing. A lot of funds are borrowing really cheaply, putting it into market, and they're like pumping up the market. So there's the liquidity risk. And then there's also risk of speculation and additional leverage. So I think going into next year, if anybody is invested in the market, there's two risks that you have to pay attention to. One of them is liquidity risk. And that's just excess liquidity in the market. And that will go away as the interest rate will rise. That will slowly go away. What you could hope for is it goes away slowly, and the Federal Reserve doesn't raise the interest really fast. So it doesn't create a panic in the market. And then the second thing is leverage, really excess amounts of leverage and borrowing. That's definitely dangerous. But it's one of those systematic risks that you would never see it coming. You just have to be well protected and well hedged. So knowing how to hedge your portfolio is a really important tool.
That's good advice.
I
want to switch gears because I would love to get your opinion on this. The last time you and I worked out was last Tuesday. I think that was December 22nd or 21st. And since then, gyms have closed down here in BC. It's now Friday, December 31st. and they're telling us that gyms are going to reopen January 18th.
January 18th. Okay.
That's what they're telling us. Now,
Mhm.
I'm personally a little bit cynical behind that. I don't think they're going to reopen come that date. But
Right.
what's your opinion on gym closures right now in BC?
I'm it's a tough one. I'm not personally a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, without getting really political here, I mean, the strip clubs are open. I don't know why the gyms can't be open. I mean, some are arguing, hey, because you're breathing heavily and the chance of virality. I leave that with the science. I try to trust the science as much as I can. But it seems like we're in an era of where science and politics and all of this stuff are a little bit mixed up. So like, I mean, I would love to see a research paper that shows me, transmissibility of a virus is less in a strip club than it is in a gym. But I don't know, Nick. I think it's amazing to work out. It's amazing to take care of your body.
Agreed.
And we have vaccines that are working, so we are taking care of our elderly. It's a tough one.
And see, I don't mind getting a little political here, and I truly believe this is a political issue. I believe that restaurants, they generate money, they generate a lot of money, and that's a lot of tax revenue for the government. Whereas gyms, they're not as profitable, so we're not paying as much tax towards the government. The government also has to show like they're doing something right now, and the best thing is, okay, well, let's shut down bars, nightclubs, and gyms, so it shows we're doing something. Because they spent a lot of money over the last few years now. And the only way they're going to make that money back is if they keep some things open, but places like gyms are to go. What have you been doing to keep your fitness up?
Oh, that's a tough one. So I have a Peloton bike at home. I used it a couple of times, but it's hard because once you take it out, like what I do on a daily basis is all based on routine. So like I know I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm trading from 6:30 to 8:39. I'm working out with you at 9 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
Once you take that out of my routine, now even though I have a bike that I could use at home, it's my life is out of balance. So it becomes really challenging. So I haven't actually been working out a lot, unfortunately. And I think that's one of the side effects of closing down gyms and changing everyone's routine. It becomes challenging.
Big time. It really does.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I want to get your contact information. So if somebody's looking to get some day trading, how do they get in contact with Bearable traders?
For sure. Yeah. So just my first name, Ardi, that's ARDI at bearabletraders.com. You could email me. So we have a really big community solely focused on day trading, but I help and assist on the option side of things. So if you're into option trading, weekly options, then definitely send me an email. Check out our website out, bearabletraders.com. Lots and lots of free resources in there as well. Yeah.
You guys are super active on social media. I know you guys are on Instagram now. You got a YouTube channel. You guys have a Facebook page as well?
I believe Andrew does. So Andrew
Aziz,
So Andrew's he's pretty much the whole brand, right? So he carries that with him. Yeah.
I'm going to get him on the channel. I'm going to harass him. Come back on. He actually likes doing these things.
Oh, for sure.
Just because he's so busy, it's hard to get a hold of him.
Yeah. He's gonna stay. He's not gonna travel as much, so it's gonna be.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. He's gonna stay a little bit.
It's a bitch to travel right now.
Right? It is. It's a tax on. I always say it's a tax on middle class because the rich is gonna travel.
Yeah.
But you have all these testing and stuff. It's just gonna kill the middle class.
Exactly. Do you have any plans for New Year's?
No plans. No, a lot of my close friends of mine have COVID, so they're all quarantining. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stay home as well. Yeah.
So this is a crazy stat, but I think you're my 8th or 9th person in the videos this week.
Yeah.
5 people who've been on the channel have all contracted COVID,
wow.
Within the last few weeks. So the numbers are definitely rising here.
Yeah.
Even with gyms closed. So
yeah, it's insane.
The next time I talk to you, which I'm hoping is going to be in the next few months, I want to pick your brain a little bit more on the market and just get a general idea. You're I think you're already successful, but you've got a long way to go, and you're going to be even more successful for sure because you got that drive and that good work ethic.
Oh, that's all it is, I think, Nick. I mean, you know better than me, but I think it's the drive is really important. Are you doing the extra research? Are you coming in over the weekend to see where the money is flowing? Where's the
Yeah.
trends? Which sectors are more strong?
Yeah.
Once you put in that extra time, then the rest I mean, sometimes, life is not fair. We know that, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
you even work really hard and you're not successful, but it's one factor you could control is your work ethics. So
Exactly.
I try to at least go 100% on that one. So,
Yeah, no, and I admire you for that. That's why I want to get you on the channel, because I know you've got a strong work ethic.
oh yeah.
And that's why you're going to be successful at anything you do. Honestly, you can say you can work really hard and maybe you won't be successful. I don't believe that. I think if you keep working hard, you eventually will be successful, whatever you do.
You'll eventually figure it out.
You
Yeah.
have to put in the hours though.
Yeah.
Ardi, thank you so much.
It was
Yeah.
pleasure was all mine. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome. Yeah. Thanks.
This video is gonna be up next week at some point in the new year. I'll let you know. I'll tag you. I'll tag Bearable Traders. Put it all up there, and maybe we can get a little episode with you, myself, and Andrew all at the same time.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
The brothers, a little bit of debate here.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Ardi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah.
And
cheers.
I'm sure I'll see you in the new year, probably in the next few weeks.
Of course.
All right.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.